How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get all creative. It's time to get that imagination all sparked up and fired up. And it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from the amazing mind of J.J. Grandville. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He's a phenomenal anthropomorphic, if I can say that right. Evidently I'm having problems speaking today, but that's going to be wonderful for the video. A surrealist, illustrator and designer and painter, and just created such wonderful works of art. He's definitely inspired tons of creatives. I know Walt Disney, Del Toro, just some great works of art. Very unique and stylized and extremely creative. And I am not super familiar with his stuff before the last few days, but every piece that I come across of his, I definitely just fall in love with. I think he's got a phenomenal style and just such an inventive and creative mind. I love this scarab march, where you can see like how human they are. And I just really love what he did. Now this study in expressions is just great, especially for anyone who's interested in animation, seeing the squash and the stretch and all the different subtle movements of the face to get different expressions out. It's just phenomenal. But like I said, unfortunately his stuff is from like kind of the early to mid 1800s is when he was a little more popular. So there isn't a lot of quotes I could really find from him, but he did evidently write his own epitaph for his gravestone that he wanted, and this was a little portion of it that I thought was great. He loved everything, made everything live, speak, and walk, and I think that's great for anybody who's in the creative field, is to try and kind of piggybacking on what we talked about a little bit yesterday with Sargent, where I said always keep that curiosity fresh, is to also have a love of just everything around you, so that you're always interested in new and different things, because you never know when that spark of creativity or inspiration or genius is going to hit from whatever it is. And then I like that other part talking about he made everything live, speak, and walk. And I think if you look through even the few illustrations that I've shown you here in this one as well, he took kind of inanimate or not human like objects and applied human qualities to them. So you don't know, is it a man that turned into a frog, or is it a frog that turned into a man? The blending of it so well, and he makes them live, speak, and walk. And I think that same thing, especially for those of us who are into animation, is important to try and breathe that illusion of life into things. And this is someone who was doing this kind of stuff way before like almost 100 years before the Disney animators took off, and really helped develop the field as well. So definitely check him out. I will link to a couple more things of his down in the description below if you guys want to follow more. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation. This is the Little Big Ant rig. It's a free rig you can grab over at Creative Crash, and I will link to it in the description below if you guys want to check that out. And if you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for this video, I usually go off every day and I find a different rig that I've never used. It's a free resource that you guys can check out, and we kind of give ourselves about 48 frames of animation and see what we come up with. We have a little bit of over the shoulder, kind of hang out with me while I animate, so you don't feel like you're alone in your creative endeavors throughout the day, and a little bit of inspiration. Hopefully in the end of these videos, what you guys leave or walk away with is that you get inspired to go off and create your own things, and you also feel like you have a buddy right beside you who's working along the same way for those dreams, and keeping you motivated and inspired to continue pursuing yours as well. So let's go ahead and get in here. And don't forget, if you do end up doing an animation with this rig, to share it back in the comments down below, so I can help promote you and give you those extra thumbs up as well. So let's go ahead and get into here. And I was thinking for this one is try and do kind of an anthropomorphic animation ourselves. Let's see what we can come up with here. Actually, let's see if we can do these in FK instead. Keep these feet in IK. Try to make him kind of like a proper or a high class ant kind of look. That's what I was thinking. Let's go raise it up a little bit. Pull that butt out. Let's go and grab all these. Push that chest out a little bit more. Let's go and rotate the neck forward. But I think we'll tip the head up a little bit more. Let's universally rotate that a little bit more so it's still kind of focused forward for the head. And let's go ahead and take these arms. There are a lot of controllers in this rig, which is going to be fun. Hopefully it will help us get into some good animation here. Not really sure how these arms are set up here. Seems like kind of they're a little off, so we'll have to be aware of that. Okay. So just go ahead and pull this in a little bit more. Yeah, perhaps. See, there's kind of a blend of like, there's still some of these arm segments there in IK here. Let's go push this forward a little bit here. Later. And I think what I want to do here is we'll worry about those when we get to it. Let's check here. Tilt them up a little bit. Oh, in fact, that's fairly good. Yeah, let's go ahead and I think we'll do a cycle with this one too, rather than a straightforward look here. Why are we getting that to happen? Okay. Gotta be aware of how these arms are gonna look here. again, we're kind of breaking probably how this originally was set up to be, so we got to be aware that that's going to happen. But I think this will be a fun idea to play around with. So let's go ahead and save our file. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 today, and don't forget to save multiple versions and to save often whenever you're animating. And that goes probably for any sort of creation you're doing. It's always good to be safe. Make sure you don't lose your work. Okay, let's kind of keep to. Let's go move that forward there. Maybe this one a little bit back. And these ones we're going to move back, right? So maybe not as far back. Okay. Set that. Go ahead and move those back to there and there. And this would be more like a video game animation where we just have it cycle on the main controller here, so that we can use the main controller to navigate throughout whatever world we would be doing for a video game, versus more of a movie style production walk, which you would actually have it, because this way there's a little bit of slippage and stuff in the feet, but if it's for a movie you would actually move off the base and do the walk that way. But this would be better for kind of a cycle there. Okay, and let's go ahead and again we'll just lock in all the main keys here, and we'll get a little bit of passing position in there. So raise that up. Again, raise that up. And we'll go to the other side here. Again, we'll just lock in all those main keys we already punched in. And lift it up here. Go ahead and lift it up again. Okay, and let's do a little bit of up and down here. Raise it up. And put it down. Raise it up. And put it down. This might be too much up and down. We'll have to see. But I think I want to do a fairly decent amount of up and down. And let's get into our graph editor. Let's go Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor here. Let's look at the translation. Let's kind of even that out a little bit more. So the important part in any type of cyclical animation is that you want to start and end at the same point, so that we get like a loop there. Since I can see that now. Looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of a mix of translate Y and translate X here in order to really get the up and down the way we want it, which is unfortunate. I don't like to mix the curves too much if I don't have to. Okay, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of left, right, left to tip over that planted back foot. Go back and zero that out. Just do a little bit of that. We don't need a lot. One thing we're going to probably have to be aware is how these knees breaks in the legs are going to work, so they're not too snappy. So like this one right here. have to go with the easier solution, but I feel like it's, without having to go through and really polish a bunch of stuff, it's going to give us a little bit cleaner movement. Alright, and let's get back, now that that stuff's a little bit cleaner, let's go ahead and save our file and get back to where we were before. Okay, let's get back into the hips, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate, let's see, will this be rotate Y? Yeah, I've got rotate X. Like I said, it's a little mix of both here. Rather than having a pure rotate X or Y, it's kind of in between there. Okay, we'll get a little bit less of that, and we'll even it out a little bit more. Yeah, let's go and see that now. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate Y to favor the front planted foot there. Which will be that one. And we'll go into that one. And we'll definitely have to try and offset that in the chest as well so it doesn't affect the head as much. Okay, and let's clean up those rotate Y's here as well. And let's minimize them here. And try and even that out so it's not favoring the left or the right side here. Okay. And let's grab the chest controllers here, which will be these three. Let's do a little bit of rotate Y, actually X there, and there, okay, let's clean that up a little bit more. Like I said, since it isn't purely like a rotate X, it's kind of at an angle. We're going to have to tweak this stuff a little bit more. I'm usually like only working in one curve at a time, and then adding, the more universal space later, but I feel like that's starting to work. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate Y here, there, okay, and let's clean that up as well. And we can always minimize any of this stuff throughout the hips or the chest as well if it just becomes too distracting or not really the idea we're looking for. We just want to get a little bit of that twist in there. Okay, now let's look at the neck here, and let's kind of offset what we have there. Focus it forward and we'll tilt it a little bit that way. Tilt it a little bit that way. That again. And again. just had to look that up because on humans the abdomen is like our stomach, but on insects the abdomen is what we would like kind of consider the butt, and the thorax is the chest. Our thorax is our chest, but our abdomen is our belly. Okay. Can guess a little bit of an insect lesson today that we're talking about here. I don't know, I just like to try and not say things that are incorrect. So, yes, thorax is correct. And abdomen is this caboose. Okay, and then we'll go here. We'll do this at 3. Drag it back. And swing it out. Drag it back. Swing it out. Drag it back. Swing it out. Drag it back. Swing it out. And back again. So let's see. Maybe a little over the top. So I'll tone it down a little bit, especially if we add the tip of the abdomen as well. Might be a little too much now. Let's go see it now. I feel like we should add more at the root here and less throughout. Let's see here. Maybe a little less up and down throughout the whole body. Feels like it just might be too much. So let's just take all of this stuff and we'll just minimize it a little bit more. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate C on the head. And down. Little bounce. And tilt. Okay, that's too much. And I think the timing might not be as good as I want. So let's switch up posing, switch up timing, and decrease it. So we just want a little bit of that kind of drag in the head and lift. Here. Let's go and see that now. Maybe a little bit more. See, it's kind of funky. Okay. So let's just go ahead and look at these guys then. And we'll do each one individually, I guess, as well. Something we did walked in there and make key. No? Yeah, there it is. Found it. Let's go and look at that now. At least there's some movement in there. Again, I'm not really sure what the idea was when they approached how they were rigging these antennas. They don't seem to work the way a normal kind of tail or antenna would from other rigs I've used, so it's kind of different, but we'll figure it out some way to get this movement in there. These guys and do a little bit for each one. I keep forgetting. Up and up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and back again. Let's even that out a little bit more, maybe a little less. And this one as well. Okay, let's go look at that now. I guess it's some sort of movement, not really what I had in mind. I'm sure I could tweak around with these things for hours, but for the sake of getting a video out every day and trying to keep these at around an hour, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on something that's really more of a accessory type animation rather than a key part. We still got to get in and do some more on the legs. And those front arms that I lifted up, I want to do a little bit of movement there. Alright, like I said, not perfect, but at least there's some sort of movement in there. I spent a little bit of extra time playing with those pole vectors on the knees earlier, so kind of let's do a little bit on here as well. Over just a little bit. This is going to be probably too much. Just so we get that extra little bit of drag in those antennas there. Let's see here. else too much. It's starting to feel pretty loose now. Not exactly the way that I would approach it, or the way I would really want it to work, but it's feeling a little better. So, okay, yeah, at least we got something. Okay, let's clean up those curves here. And look at this guy. And back again. Let's go into okay, and let's clean up that curve as well. Okay, let's go and save that, and let's do a little bit of movement on these arms. I think we've got them between the way that the abdomen's working and the way the Z10 is working. I feel like we have a lot of bounce, so we don't really need to do anything too exciting with these arms. But we'll do a little bit of drag. Raise, drag, raise, and we'll probably even tone that down as well, especially if we can get a little bit more movement in bottom portions here. So we don't want everything the same time and being really wild, otherwise it's just too much, too busy. Okay, and let's go ahead and look at that, so clean those curves up a little bit more. Like I said, we could even minimize them a little bit more. So let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, and let's see, can we use this one? Is this one gonna work? Alright, it does, okay. Go ahead and drag that there. Out. Here. Out. There. Out. Back to the original. I'll just do a little bit of that. Okay, let's check that out now. Maybe a little bit more. I'm just trying to get that stiffness out of here. Okay, and let's see. Maybe get some of these or not. Yeah, see. So I was kind of worried about. There's not a lot we can do for these last little bits here. I'm just gonna just keep it kind of where it is then, I guess. Maybe a little less movement. Still feels a little too busy. I want those arms to feel a little bit like they're controlling themselves. They're trying to keep steady. Alright, and let's see if we can't mix up these steps a little bit more. Let's grab the translate Y's, and let's make the front steps a little bit higher than the back steps. So let's go and see that. And let's lower the back steps a little bit, just to have a bit of variation between the front to the back here. I'll just lower them a little bit more. And let's check that out. Okay, and let's do a little bit of, let's see. Isn't too much rotate, we can really get in there. What about here? And we could do a little bit of drag there. That would work. Just want to make sure we didn't have the wrong thing. So we'll set 12 and 24, 36 and 48. And we'll just add a little bit of that. I think it was rotate Z, just to have some drag. And we'll zero it out again to try and separate the positioning and the shape of the leg there, so it doesn't have the same shape throughout each of the steps. And again, we'll kind of go in here to 12, 24, separate the passing positions a little bit more. And let's go ahead and make these, let's change the timing up a little bit so there's, let's take the passing position here and move it 2 frames forward. So they have a heavier landing there. Okay, let's turn our nerve curves off and let's take a look at that. Yeah, I feel like that works all right. So let's stop that for a sec, turn our curves back on. Let's grab this guy and let's scale it back a little bit further. Let's create a new camera. Just so I have a different background color. Let's do kind of, I think like a burnt reddish would work all right. Assign new material, let's put a Lambert on there. Let's go and save our file just in case. Save that. Color on. And turn our curves off. Let's go ahead and look at that now. Yeah, I think that works. One thing I have to be careful of, I think we resize that at a different frame, so we don't want that going off. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. Nice little cycle. And let's go ahead and take a look back at, we were looking at J.J. Grandville and his beautiful and wonderful illustration work. And he said of himself as he wrote, for what he wanted people to say basically after he died, was he loved everything. He made everything live, speak, and walk. And I think that's a great attitude to have, is to try and put your feelers out in everything so you can always get inspired and motivated and encouraged by anything out there, and try to really come at it from a perspective of love with people that you meet, with things that you try. Don't worry, don't be afraid, just put yourself out there and give positive energy towards things. And then as far as creation goes, try to have that attitude of trying to create the illusion of life, whether it be in your music or in your writing or in your animating or in your drawing. Try and give that feeling behind it that there's true characters and true living beings and creations in the things that you create, and then just take your work to that next level. So that being said, thanks again for all the likes and subscribes. You guys are awesome. You're wonderful. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Don't forget to comment down below if there's things that you liked or learned in this video. Let me know. If there's things that you would have done different or different approaches or anything, comments or critiques are always welcome. And you guys are awesome. I love you lots. And that being said, we'll see you for some more animation tomorrow.